Hello and a very warm welcome to you to this week's Out and About. Now first up we take you to London South Bank University for the inaugural Dr Rami Ranger Enterprise Lecture, which was delivered by none other than renowned Labour MP Mr Keith Vaz.
The whole kind of purpose of the event is an inaugural lecture series around kind of entrepreneurship, small business, and also a celebration event. So many of you in the room will know that we were kind enough to receive a donation from Rami towards the tail end of 2014, and today is a celebration of what we've already done with some of that funding, and to tell you a little bit more about what we've got planned for the future.
I'm indebted to London South Bank University for allowing me to share my life journey with others who may be in similar situation as I once was. We both feel by sharing stories such as mine, we can encourage others to face challenges which fate throws at us from time to time. I'm grateful to Keith for sparing his valuable time to deliver this inaugural lecture today. I requested Keith because he has smashed many glass ceilings in Britain and has inspired many like me to go the extra mile. Keith, you have done tremendous work. You made many Bollywood film star doctors, yes, starting from Shah Rukh Khan to Amitabh Bachchan, and you raised a lot of money for diabetic concern, Silver Star, which is fantastic. You have given a lot of vans equipped with diabetic testing equipment to many poorer countries. So what can I say? I can be here all day talking about Keith Vaz. So thank you very much, Keith, for being the man you are and being my friend above all. Thank you.
Rami, it is a huge honour and privilege to be with you here today, to be participating in a historic occasion, the first Rami Ranger Enterprise Lecture, especially coming from someone who's never run a business. This is quite an achievement to have chosen me for this particular occasion. Now, you've asked me to talk about enterprise to people who are probably studying enterprise, or those like Rami Ranger and others, CB Patel, Tony Litt, Shafali Solanki, who deal with enterprise every single day. So I feel a bit like a fraud because, as I've said, I've not really created any single job in my life. But I have watched great entrepreneurs, and I have studied a little bit of what they've done. And this is my take on what it means to be an entrepreneur and how we can encourage more and more people to be involved in this process. Because there is no point in being involved in enterprise unless you try and break that glass ceiling. So those of you who are studying this subject, and I am not one of those who believe absolutely that if you get an MBA at Stanford, or indeed an MBA at South Bank University, you suddenly become the richest man or woman in the world. I'm from the old school who believes very firmly that enterprise comes from within you. Ferguson, in his book, talks about winning the game. Winning a game is only a short-term gain. Building a club brings stability and consistency. I'm one of those who believes in the long term. I do not believe in short-term gain. The Japanese invented the card. Okay, I know we think we did, but we didn't. They invented the calling card. And how many of us, when we get our calling cards, actually bother to communicate or write to or send an email to the person who has contacted us? Absolutely vital. You never know in entrepreneurship and in life when a person is going to be useful to you in the future or going to help you grow your business. The most important aspect I can't talk about because I'm very bad with money, as you probably expect. As someone who will never run the country, I'm never going to be Chancellor of the Exchequer. But finance is absolutely critical. What I like so much about what your plans are is the ability to be able to give out finance to people to let them grow their ideas. I'm afraid the classic example of the £2 in your pocket or the £5 in your pocket when you arrive in this country, it doesn't work anymore. it was of an age where you could do that because you had everything else. But actually, you do need access to finance. And the banking system that we have does not provide that. Go to a bank manager, and the bank manager is almost always going to say no. If you don't have a house, and you don't have a guarantor, and you don't have a mentor, and you don't have the money, they're not going to lend money, especially in the current economic climate. So it's going to be very, very difficult if you don't achieve that. I hope that from amongst you, we will find people who will be able to go on and do not only great things, the likes of Rami and Shefali and CBE and Krishna, but things that are even beyond that. So we can have our own Zuckerbergs and our own Spiegels from this audience and from South Bank. Thank you very much for listening. Well, we don't need a lecture on entrepreneurship when we've got Rami Ranger, a man who has given his name to the creation of this centre. And it's going to be a living centre with people playing a very important part in the way in which things are being occupied and the way in which people can take their lives forward. So thank you very much, Rami Ranger.
I'm so glad that, I'm leaving some legacy and I'm putting back in the country which gave me so much. It's very important that the country which has given us a great break in our life, we should also try to help other people. So I'm trying to do something for those who may be in my situation as I once was. So I'm very happy that this lecture has been delivered by Keith Vaz, a role model for me, and the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Pat Bailey, has very kindly facilitated this, and Gurpreet has been marvelous in making sure that all this is reality. So I'm really indebted that what has happened, and I hope this story resonate with so many other people, and more people will make donation to our educational institution, and so that we can encourage more entrepreneurs.
I do absolutely agree that the real proof of your skills are the way that you use them, and actually a willingness to try things and not succeed, but to then pick yourself up and have another go. And I do love the idea of somebody who just can't understand why they can't swim. And they're trying as hard as they possibly can to swim, but they just can't. They've read all of the information about how to swim, so they know all the things they ought to be doing. They're even holding the book, reading it whilst they're attempting to swim. But for some strange reason, they don't seem to be able to do it. I think throwing the book away at some stage and just getting in and doing it might actually make all the difference.
Well, we're incredibly proud to have been hosting it, and it was fantastic to hear the thoughts that Rami Ranger had, the insights that he had, and the fantastic anecdotes as well. It's a wonderful rags to riches story that he has, but I think his ability to communicate that with the young entrepreneurs that we had in the audience is one of the most fantastic legacies. So it's a networking opportunity, but it's a real chance for the younger people to see some of those who've really made it, and to find out more about what are the things you need to do to be a really successful entrepreneur.
What message would you like to give to our budding entrepreneurs who are sat at home watching this?
You are all very special. You have it in you. It is all your desire, your vision, your commitment which will bring the result. Nobody can hold a good person down. So just remember, you know your value more than anybody else.
Be bold. Fortune favours the brave.
Well, Mr. Vaz, I couldn't have put it any better myself. He who dares does definitely win. Best wishes there to everybody involved with organising a fantastic lecture. Time now for a very short break, but make sure you join us in part 2, where we bring you the launch of a brand new charity. We'll see you in part 2.